felice et erea, viva venanze
Contrasenso. That means against sense. And very little about Naples makes sense in the beginning. Certainly, many will say, not the way they drive or navigate the roads in Naples' historic Central District. What you hear from other Italians is that Naples isn't even Italy. They don't speak regular Italian, and according to many from, say, Milan or Tuscany or points north, it's somewhere slightly below Sicily on the evolutionary scale. But that's a very Italian attitude to start with. The not-quite nation of city-states for whom the next village over will always be the worst place on earth.
Here, this is sort of like spiritual homeland of organized crime. Like everything's completely up. Even getting the garbage picked up is like apparently impossible.
The joke is that the city is filled with thieves, and one does tend to lose things not looked after carefully, including, say, control of the garbage industry, which may be because the Camorra, Naples' powerful brother to Sicily's mafia, have pretty much a hammerlock on everything that goes on here.
The story now is they don't have an incinerator, I think, or enough incinerators to burn it. So it's not the garbage pickup season or something.
Through history, the area hasn't caught many breaks. Living in the shadow of Vesuvius, a powerful volcano, invasions, World War II, everybody seems to mess with Naples.
Generally, everything here that you want to do, the answer is maybe, we hope so, I don't know. It's exactly like what's so great about this town. It doesn't really work. I mean, Naples would be no fun at all if it was like Switzerland or Berlin. You don't want that.
What Naples is damn beautiful. And old. Being old, it can claim responsibility for a number of iconic innovations of Italian culture, like the mandolin, and of course, the world's most popular food, from Seattle to Tashkent to Singapore. Pizza. A slab or a round of dough covered with tomato sauce, cheese, and maybe some other stuff. Simple, right?
Where does pizza come from? A lot of what I grew up eating for pizza, the vendors like to say that this was Neapolitan pizza. What do they mean by that?
In 2004, the Italian Ministry of Agriculture actually laid out regulations for how a Neapolitan pizza must be made. Dimensions, thickness of crust, ingredients, even cooking temperature. And this place, Pizzeria Polone, is by Napolitano general consensus an excellent example of industry standard, and even one of the very best at making this. Pizza Margarita, classic, minimalist.
Who was Margarita? I don't know. It was in her name. I could make up a story. She became the focus of much interest and wild weekend parties with President Berlusconi in honor of her services to the state and her skill with the head of state. A pizza was named after her. Whoa, yes. Oh, that's pretty. That's beautiful. You got your mozzarella, you got your tomato sauce, you got your leaves of basil. Bingo.
Note first, the crust.
10, 15, 20 years ago, suddenly New York pizza was like not acceptable. A puffy crust was seen as somehow fake. Suddenly it was all about crispy, super thin crust pizza, as if this was somehow more authentic. But apparently, not in Naples. And look, we got a fairly thick crust here.
Note also, the cheese.
When did they start putting like industrial, relatively dry, rubbery mozzarella grated on top of pizzas? Which structurally is easier to pick up and less likely to leak onto your shoes. One guess would be fresh mozzarella was hard to come by in the first few years of pizza in New York.
Notice the fresh mozzarella, which brings us to a unique interplay between cheese and sauce.
Now, see, here's the thing. To my way of thinking, you kind of let it sit and kind of firm up. Because otherwise you get that weird, like, watery tectonic slide, because you get a lot of water out of the mozzarella. The fact is, you're going to use really good mozzarella. It makes your crust kind of soggy. So really, you have a big decision to make when you're a pizza maker. Am I a cheese guy or a crust guy? They're justifiably famous for their mozzarella around here. So they can hardly be faulted with erring on the side of cheese.
But the best New York wood-fire pizzas, where they make a point of using fresh cheese, respecting the classics, not that far from this.
If this is closer to the utility slice, texturally speaking, than the sort of thin crust, artisanal pizza. But here's the most significant difference between New York style and Italian style pizza. You eat it with a knife and fork. Now, at no point is it acceptable, from what I've seen of technique nationwide, you don't see people picking up the slice, okay? They don't pick it up. Cookie, right? I don't even know how to attack it. Do you cut it in wedges? What do? You go right at the fillet in the middle, start cutting the heart right out? Whoa, he's picking up. He's going for the lift. Where are you from, sir? Notice you're eating pizza with your hands. Americano. Eating this throws into question everything I thought I knew about pizza. What is authentic pizza? What does it all mean? I don't know. I don't really even care. You know what? This shit's good. That outer blistery stuff, sauce is awesome. Everybody talks about crust, but at the end of the day, I think everybody's pizza box or plate ends up looking pretty similar. All of the sauce and cheese eaten out of the center, and who gets left alone, shivering with frustration? The crust. Like Jeremy Piven at a strip club. But I'm on TV. Come on with me.
Quaint fishing villages, azure skies, blue water, terraced gardens, M.C. Escher-like structures built into the sides of sheer cliffs. That could only exist on a pizzeria wall, right? No. About a half hour from Naples, it's all there, on the Amalfi Coast, and it's even more beautiful than the dream. As a non-Italian wannabe Italian, I buy into this big time.
Tu sei il più bello regalo.
The infamous road of 1,000 bends, barely wide enough to accommodate 2 cars side by side, which makes it very difficult for Fieri to drive his canary yellow Humvee. Me, I'm comfortable with my sexuality, and I've got no problems with the size of my dick. Which means I feel free to drive something more sensible, more appropriate to the road, and environmentally friendly. Something tiny, something decorated with pink trim, and well, Barbie-esque. Like this thing my producers rented for me. And all I need now is a toy poodle in the driver's seat with a big fluffy bow. Weather perfect, wind in my hair. Okay, car less than optimal, but on balance, all good. And looking forward to a seaside Negroni in the fisherman's village of Chitara, while a local chef gathers urchins for my lunch.